Hi there, welcome to the latest breaking news in the Noah Presgrove case in regard to the remaining defendants that have not responded back to the wrongful death lawsuit. There has been put in place some new court documents suggesting a delay, an extended period of time in order for those said individuals to respond back accordingly. Whilst Val Patrol, Jack Newton, Caleb Newton and Carter Combs have already responded and have done videos on that. The likes of Avery, Joe Howard, Avery Combs, the sister to Carter, Logan Jernigan, Stevie Howard, Jonah Trout Wilcoxon, and I guess the unidentified individuals, John Jane Does, have just not responded yet. Is there a reason for that? Because they don't want to? On borrowed time, hiding, unable to be reached or got a hold of? You could look at it in different ways, but surely they would know that they're on the list, that it's been made aware. You'd think they would want to get out the way, but they haven't at this moment. So join me today as we look at the latest court documents to understand exactly what's mentioned, maybe look at some comments by other people and points of views, and as well, a strange new observation has come about. For example, the party goer Logan Jernigan has gone a little quiet on social media, and I'll try and show you that as proof later if you stick around. In summary, it's to do with their social media account either being hidden or being deleted, and I believe on Instagram as well, certain posts being all deleted. Are they trying to cover up, hide themselves? But they just happen to be involved in not responding back yet, and for more time, given more time to respond back. How does that link or correlate to their social media accounts being deleted or restricted? Is there a direct link? Are they trying to hide something? Who knows? You could look at it in different ways. But welcome if you are currently here during the live premiere. You can share your reactions in the live chat box on the right side of the screen there. And if you've got any additional thoughts, questions, answers, theories, ideas, be sure to drop a comment below under the video. It does help with spreading awareness and getting the videos out there. If you are interested in the previous coverage on this case, breaking news, you'll be able to find it all available where the eye symbol is up there, top right, with the full playlist covering the Noah Presgrove case. If you want to support my channel, in the comment section, there'll be a pinned message with a PayPal link to me and channel membership. Without further ado, let's begin. The first page of the document reads, in the District Court, Stephens County, State of Oklahoma, Honorary Lawrence Wheeler, may have heard their name before. It was filed September 2nd, 2025. Very, very recent, of course. Zooming in, it does mention all the names are not et al. So there is that, just for a reference. But we don't include Val Patrol here or Caleb, Jack, Carter, because they've already responded, but Avery, Joni, Trout Wilcoxon, Stevie Howard, Logan, and I guess John Jane are yet to respond. And below here, defendants verified motion for extension of time to serve the petition, the wrongful death lawsuit, and to serve by publication. The estate of Noah Nichols respectfully request the court grant 180 additional days for plaintiff to serve summons and petition on the remaining defendants, and, if unsuccessful, permit publication notice as to these defendants in support of this motion, states. The civil procedure permits additional time for service of summons and petition for good cause. Moreover, the section permits the court to, and we'll move on to the next page so you can see, permits to described other methods of service where service by mail and personal delivery has failed. Here, plaintiff attempted service by mail at the defendant's last known residence. Okay, last known residence. I wonder if any of them have been moving about from place to place since. And searches through the background check software. For example, defendant Val Patrol was served via mail and has answered. Several other defendants, such as the Newtons, were served by process server. Okay, affidavit. As to the other defendants, mail service and personal service proved unsuccessful. So that basically means different forms of reaching out to those said defendants. Val Patrol was successful and responded. Jack Caleb was successful as well. But in terms of both methods towards Logan, Stevie, Jonah Trout Wilcoxon, Logan, etc., they've not responded back despite being reached out to. As for last known residents, mail service, personal service, all unsuccessful. Are these defendants purposely avoiding or what? It does make you think. The plaintiff will attempt to personally serve these defendants again. However, assuming that attempt is again unsuccessful, the estate request permission to complete service by publication pursuant as service by mail and personal service have already failed. Counsel represents that even with due diligence, service cannot be made of these defendants. As service has failed, counsel cannot verify whether these individuals are living or dead, and if dead, the names or whereabouts of the person successors. Likely these defendants are not dead, but there's always that possibility. Service shall be accomplished through publication of a notice signed by the court clerk. 1 day a week for 3 consecutive weeks in a newspaper authorised by law to publish legal notices and published in Stephens County, Oklahoma, the county in which this petition is filed. In conclusion, plaintiff requests the court grant in 180 additional days to serve the identified defendants and, if unsuccessful, permission to serve defendants by publication in accordance. A proposed order attached. Moving on, not too much there. If you want to pause it, feel free to do so. And this one here as well. On the 2nd of September 2025, the undersigned served a true and correct copy of the foregoing document, and so on. That being said, Exhibit A, have a quick look at this. I don't know if Exhibit B will be shown as well. It should be. What's filled in here? Estate of Noah Presgrove, the plaintiff petitioner. Okay. Hopefully you can read it. If not, I'll just read it out to you. I, Michael Borzadin, being duly sworn, depose and say I am over the age of 18, and so on. Right. Recipient name, address, Jonathan Salgado, Caleb Newton. Is that full name or what? Whatever. Additional comments. 1. Successful attempt, August 5th, 2025 at 3:29 p.m. CDT at home, south of intersection, Comanche, received by Carter Combs. Interesting. Comanche, Oklahoma. What, that's where Carter Combs is living or was living, and that's where she received it as for a successful attempt in reaching out to her in order for her to respond to the petition, which was successful. Carter Combs, age 21, ethnicity Caucasian, gender female, weight, I don't know what that says, 12 stone is that? Height 5'4", hair blonde. Number 2, successful attempt, August 5th, same day, 2025, 3:43 p.m. at Hunter Jack Newton, Comanche, Oklahoma. Received by Jonathan Salgado, age 21, ethnicity Hispanic, gender white, weight 175 pounds, height 5'8", hair black, brown eyes, relationship, roommate. What? What does that mean? Relationship, a roommate. To whom exactly? Who is Jack Newton a roommate to? Why is it not mentioned as like boyfriend or something like that to Carter Combs, unless that's not like a legal term? Number 3, successful attempt, same day again at 3:45, a few minutes later, to Caleb Newton, Oklahoma, Comanche, received by Jonathan Salgado. Okay, 175 pounds, 5'6", same weight as Jack. Interesting. Relationship, roommate. Right, so I guess what it basically means is that when Jack and father Caleb received it, they were living at the same place. That's why it's called roommate, I guess. And it was successful. All on the same day as well as with Carter. Does it mention Val Patrol, though? Not really, unless there's a reason for that. Okay. Number 4, unsuccessful attempt. Same day at 4:33 p.m. Stevie Lee Howard, the mother to Carter and Avery, in Terrell, Oklahoma. But it says Stevie Howard house appears vacant, and one defendant indicated he may live in Berry, Texas. Hold on a second. We're talking about the house appears vacant. I'm guessing we're referring to the party house in Terrell, Oklahoma. Vacant, empty. Okay. But it says that one defendant speaking on behalf of Stevie said that they may live in Berry, Texas, and that appears to be the case from what I remember. But why are they saying that he may live? Stevie Howard, as in he may live. Stevie Howard is a female. So it seems like this court document has made a little bit of a mistake there. 5, unsuccessful attempt. Same day at 4:34. And that's with Logan Jernigan. Received no response at door. Left business card. One defendant indicated he lives in Texas now. He, you mean she, because Logan is a girl, a female. So Logan lives in Texas, is that so? So have they tried reaching out to these said individuals that live elsewhere? Is that so or what? 6, unsuccessful attempt. Same day at 5:32 p.m. Trout Wilcoxon. 12 Apache Avenue, Terrell, Oklahoma. Gate locked and no one appears home. Found a phone number from a local resident. Attempted to call, left a voicemail. 3 different locals stated he left for Florida for a vacation with an unknown arrival date back. We'll have to try again. So, whether or not I'm able to do it, I might have to cover that up in terms of that phone number or so, just because I've got to protect myself because of YouTube and the silly guidelines, even though it's all public here. Moving on, Michael Facecas gave a bit of a summary in his point of view, so we'll just acknowledge it while we're here. New filing in the estate of Noah Nichols case, extension of time to serve defendants today. We have another development in the ongoing civil case of Noah Presgrove. The estate of Noah Nichols, through its attorneys, has filed a verified motion for extension of time to serve petition and to serve by publication in Stephen County District Court. What does this mean in plain language? When a lawsuit is filed, every person or company named as a defendant must be officially served with the lawsuit papers. This is what gives the court jurisdiction over them. Some defendants like Caleb and Jack have already been served and have filed their responses. Others, however, have been difficult to locate or avoid service altogether. The process server made multiple attempts at different addresses, and in some cases houses appeared vacant or the defendants were reportedly out of state. Logan and Stevie, for example. Because of this, Noah's attorneys are asking the court for 180 more days to complete service attempts. How successful would that be, I wonder? Permission to serve some defendants by publication, running legal notices in newspaper, which is a last resort if someone cannot be personally served despite due diligence. Why does this matter? If the court grants this motion, it ensures that all named defendants, including Avery, Carter Combs, Stevie, Logan Jernigan, and Joni Trout Wilcoxon, can be legally brought into the case, even if they continue to dodge service. But it clearly said that Carter Combs has successfully responded, that it was Stevie, Logan, and Joni that were the problem, not Carter. Without proper service, a defendant cannot be forced to answer the lawsuit or be held accountable in court. This filing is the estate's way of making sure no one can escape responsibility simply by hiding. The system may move slowly, but filings like this show the case is still very much alive and the fight for Noah's truth continues. Of course, that's a positive, but will any of these said named defendants be able to slip through the fingers of those and get away? Even if they are innocent, just be able to slip free without having to respond. That would be unfortunate, of course. But in terms of delays and stuff like that, even though it's something a little bit different, supposedly when it came to Noah's family, the victim's family, and the Pressey household, Alicia, Kate and Pressey, when it came to the whole discussion of showing the evidence, the phone data and all of that Cade and Pressy or Alicia said they were going to show it to the victim's family, going to meet up or come on down, and it fell through, never happened. And between that, a link was provided, but it was an expired one, so the family couldn't access the files or the details, which some people interpreted by the general public as, was that a delay tactic to stall things? But why would you need to stall it? Now, take in mind, none of them are defendants. Caden isn't a defendant, so it's on the sideline, but it was a big thing previously. Now, what you're looking at here is of Logan Jernigan with 798 followers and 921 following. You'd expect Logan to have more of an established profile, and that photo, that one picture there, was in 2021. But supposedly there should be more photos in some way, as you would expect, but there is only one post, meaning that the remaining post, hundreds or whatever that was once there, are now either deleted or hidden. But for what reason? Why? Is it just a coincidence, the timing of this taking place with Logan, as example, failing to respond back to the petition? Is there a connection or what? And more specifically, which is more odd, when it comes to Facebook, Logan Jernigan is nowhere to be found, at least publicly speaking, on there. So, for example, when you go to Jasmine Milan, who is or was friends with Logan Jernigan, as for the friend list, you type in the name, it will say no followers show. If you go on Carter Combs or Avery and you type in Logan Jernigan's name, it will say no person found. So it implies that either Logan Jernigan has unfriended everyone from the party, or more than likely restricted or hidden their whole account or even deleted it, because when you just type in their name in general on Facebook as a stranger, the account profile doesn't even show up, right? And I think a few other people may have tried it since and they can't find the name either. So what's going on? Is it just a coincidence, the timing of it all, or is there more to it? So some interesting developments. You can let me know. Are you surprised by the said defendants that haven't responded back immediately? Is it understandable as to why? Because of location-based, moving location, moving house, but then shouldn't authorities be already made aware or alert of that already, when considering that the general public were to some extent already alert and aware that, like Stevie Howard, they moved on to Texas, Bowie, Texas. But surely the officials should know to some extent. As for Logan, wasn't aware of that, but as we learnt slowly with time, that party house has become somewhat abandoned, because Carter, Avery and Logan did live there post-death of Noah Presgrove up to a certain point and then moved on. Why exactly? Maybe partially because of life changes, choices, and then other reasons can link to, from what they've claimed, being harassed, vigilantism, damage to the property. Maybe they felt endangered, scared, so they had to move on and spread out, split apart. But when people like to blame or accuse Jack Newton and label him as being involved, or even Caleb, or both, it's interesting how those two did respond back within time, but the other people did not. No mention whatsoever of John, Jane Doe. That technically they should have to respond themselves, but maybe it's not possible if their identities are still unknown. I mean, they're unknown to us, but are they also unknown to the authorities, or what? And how long will it take until those names come out? And will there be of any names that we're familiar with or expect to be classified as defendants? I guess time will tell. I had a little look on Facebook to see for additional comments or responses, and for most part of it, there wasn't really much. It was kind of quiet, so there's no need to really acknowledge or mention anything else of note. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. I just wanted to show you the latest court documents and the current state of things, and hopefully you found the video somewhat interesting. Join me next time with the next thing what we look at, and yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye, good night for now.